Hello, happy Tuesday, dear work wives
Happy
and
to, I almost
Emily.
said it's Wednesday, but it's Tuesday as you're listening, hopefully.
Oh, I just am in a vortex of
Right.
like if I'm recording, it's Tuesday, even though in actuality it is Wednesday.
Right. That's exactly what I did yesterday. It's like, oh, something Dear Work Vibes is happening. So it's Wednesday, but like, no, it's Tuesday. And now today is Wednesday. And it's actually, so anyway, happy Dear Work Wives Day.
Happy dear work wives day,
Yeah.
whatever day it
Whatever day
is
it
for
is.
you. Because you
Welcome.
might not even be listening on a Tuesday, but
But welcome. We're glad you're here and
we're
listening.
glad you're here. What's going on for you?
What is going on? Not much. It's like the end of summer. My children are feral. We're all
End
driving
of
each other.
summer.
End of school. End
Okay.
of
It was like,
school.
I was
End
like,
of
does Canada
school.
have a different summer than us too?
No, it's end of school. But I'm just like so desperate for summer break. I cannot handle one more day of the school routine, but we have 4 more weeks of it to go. And so,
4 more weeks?
yeah, my kids go to school till June 29th.
Oh, wow.
Well, yeah. So I'm just ready for this to end. And so are they. And so we're all just driving each other absolutely bananas. And it's
Hmm.
been a very trying week. And if I have to
Do they
cut
go
up,
back later than us?
they
Is
go
that
back the Wednesday after Labor Day.
okay? Yeah, so a little bit later.
Yeah.
But wow.
If I have to cut up one more cucumber for their lunches, I'm gonna simply cease to exist. But here we are. I have to do
At
it, so it's fine.
least they
Um,
eat cucumbers, you know?
they do that's the only vegetable that I eat is cucumbers and corn on the cob. So yeah, summer's almost here. We went camping last weekend and it was gorgeous weather. We had the best time. And then this week we're going to visit James's family and we're doing like extended family photos, which we're looking
Oh,
forward to. Yeah, like all 11 of us are going to be in them.
wow, that's a lot of coordination.
It is.
Are you
Yes.
coordinating like the outfits or just the color palette or
Colors,
what?
color palette, blues
Okay.
and pinks because of those are everyone's favorite colors.
Do
So
you get to like approve them? Remember what happened with our photo shoot for our team and we gave a color palette and then people didn't listen to the color palette?
yeah, if you're listening to this, people, you didn't listen, but it's okay. We just let it slide. We
We
just went with it.
went with it. It was fine,
All
but
worked out. Um, I like the girls are sending photos, and there's a lot of print and pattern, but that's what our family is. So like I do not
yeah,
care.
yeah,
Everyone
yeah.
is wearing blues and there's like a smattering of pinks happening as well.
Hmm.
And it's gonna look great.
Yeah.
So I'm
Okay, love
yeah,
it.
thrilled
Did
that
Lila
everyone is
pick her
actually
outfit
listening.
yet? Did she
She's
pick the outfit I picked?
That's TBD. When she sees them
Okay.
all together, I really want her to pick that one. So does everyone else.
Yeah.
So I'm hopeful that that's where she'll land. So
Especially if
that's
there's lots of other patterns. Like I want her to be bold and
yeah,
navy.
yes. And when I look at like the what the four of us are wearing, like that the navy dress will also fit in better with when we do just pictures of the four of us. So
Right.
I'm hopeful that that's where she'll end up. I'm going to really push that direction but then
Yeah.
it's her choice. So
Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, that's me. That's what's going on with me. What about you?
Well, I'm feeling fine, so
Oh my
that's
gosh.
good.
Knock on wood.
Right. Coco's been sick still. You know,
Yeah.
she had hand, foot, mouth, and then like she's got some sort of like it just like turned into like bronchitis or something in her. She got like a cough, but she's a trooper. My stepmom was in town, so we went to saw The Little Mermaid again with Kit. Have you seen it yet?
No, I was just talking with my sister-in-law about like should we take because this weekend all the men are going to a TFC Toronto Football Club game and all the
Yeah.
women except for Oakley are not. And so I was like we should go see The Little Mermaid, but I don't know if the timing will work out and
Oh,
but I really wanted to. I really want to go
it's
see it.
it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've seen it twice now in the theaters. Loved it. I'm obsessed with Halle Bailey,
Yes.
the Little Mermaid. And because we're going to Disney, like I saw an article last week or something that it was like her first day, not obviously Halle Bailey, but like the
Yeah.
black Little
Yes,
Mermaid.
Black
It was
Little
like her
Mermaid. I've
first
seen these
day at
TikToks.
Disney. I was like, I
Yeah.
can't wait to see her when we go, you
Yeah.
know? Very excited.
Yeah.
So we did that. We went to the zoo. Just had a big
We're busy.
kids weekend, booked and busy over here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I don't know what else is going on. We just same old other than that, you know?
Yeah. There's a
It's
lot
got
going
a few
on.
like birthday parties coming up.
Yeah. Tis the
Summer.
season.
Yeah, summer birthdays.
There's a lot
She's
going
about
on
to
over
start
at Run
hip
Like
hop
Clockwork.
dance.
Oh, fun. That's exciting.
She's gonna start hip hop dance next Monday, so we'll see how that goes. Because they don't have like ballet during the summer that works for the times that she's available.
Yeah, because she's also booked and busy.
She's more booked and busy than me.
Oh, I
And
know.
we've talked about this before. I'm like, why do we sign our kids up for all these things? Because then I have to take them to all these things. But I want her to have opportunities and see
Yeah.
what she's interested in. And also, it is like with ballet and gymnastics, I'm like, oh, it's good for her because she's a toe walker. And we've been like doing therapy to help her walk on her flat feet. And a lot of what they do in those classes is, I think,
Yes.
helpful for getting
Totally.
her to stretch and like walk on her flat feet. But then soccer, she does at school. So that's at least something I don't have to like take her to.
Yeah.
And then swimming is just a life skill that she has to have. And
Yeah.
she told me it's her favorite. So
Oh.
I'm like, wow, could have fooled me because
you just never want to go. Yeah.
because you literally can't swim. So
Yeah.
you know, you'd think by now you'd
Yeah.
try a little harder. I don't know.
No. This Thursday is so wild, like, you know, tomorrow essentially, because like you said, my kids are signed up for far too much for my own personal sanity. But Thursday, Lila has voice and piano lessons, 4:30 to, she gets home from school at like 3:15, 4:30 to 5:30 that, and then she has to be at her school at 5:30 because she has the like art spectacular, like an art show, and she's in the school choir, the school drama club, and the school dance team. So she has 3 performances in this art spectacular, and it's from
Oh my gosh
6 to 7, and then she has soccer at 7:15, but it's picture
Stop.
night. It's picture day at soccer, so she can't. And like honestly, we would have skipped it. We'd been like, sorry, like she's got this thing, but it's picture day at soccer, so she has to be at soccer by like their slot is 7:30, and we said like I think we're going to be a little late because this art show is going to end when it ends.
Yeah.
And the teacher said it's about an hour, so then we have to rush her from this art show, and she's in the last performance, and they're doing the trial of Goldilocks, and she's Goldilocks, so I can't yank her out of that. So yeah.
When does she eat?
She won't. She'll have to eat after school.
Oh my gosh.
She'll have to eat after school at like 3:30, and then when from the drive from piano to school. Yeah. And then the drive from school to soccer, have another snack. But this is like rare. It's an extra thing, but of course the school told us about this like 6 days ago.
Yeah.
I'm like, you've been planning this for a very long time. Like more notice would have been appreciated. Not that it would have changed a single thing about our schedule, but I would have known.
You would have been able to mentally prepare a little bit more. Yeah.
So yeah, that's happening.
Yeah, so you're busy.
But it's the last kind of day, all of that kind of stuff. So and then she was like, can you come like to the daytime performances too? And I was like, girl, I have a job. And like I know that I could. I know I could. I know that's not like I have encouraged to go, but I'm also like I'm gonna be at the nighttime one. So
yeah, like do we need to go to both?
All 3? So anyway, that's my speaking of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
but she signed herself up for all of those clubs. So where do you think she got that from?
From you. Yeah.
Yeah. So
she's like, I need to be busy.
Yeah.
Does she like is she into like drama and the art?
Oh,
yeah. Is that like her thing?
That's her thing. Yeah. That's her thing to a T. She wants to be a fashion designer / Taylor Swift when she grows up. So
I just didn't have the talent for it. So I hope that she does.
Yeah. You know? Yeah. So anyway, good times.
That's amazing. Well, yeah. Anything else we got going on?
I don't think so.
I mean, we are busy at Clockwork, but
yeah,
Oh, Father's Day is next weekend here.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, meh. My husband's going golfing. Like, I'm like, have a good day.
But what's really big news today for us?
Today at Clockwork or for what?
No, for you
Okay.
and me. It's
What?
Wednesday. It's
VPR season
it's
3.
Vanderpump Rules.
Yes.
Like the finale.
The finale, the final part of the
Oh, and Teresa, I sent you a message yesterday. Teresa from Real Housewives of New Jersey is basically in my neighborhood, and I haven't seen her yet. So I gotta get out there.
I honestly, I told you this, like I had to stop watching New Jersey because it's actually so sad to me that that's a real family that's falling apart. And they've been having the same fight.
Like, I know I only watched the wedding one because my friend was like, you have to just see the wedding.
Yeah.
Which she was right. I had to see that because the funniest part of that episode to me, I don't know if did you watch it?
No, not yet. I'm sure I will come there. Like I will be like, okay, it's time, but I need a break. The funniest part
of the wedding episode is everyone making fun of her hair and like no one really saying anything to her face.
I know.
Like, but then all of her friends were like, oh, it's too big. Even her daughters, like,
yeah,
everyone.
She looks. I mean, obviously, I've seen the pictures.
Even Louis, I think that like even her husband was like, I mean, it's a choice, you know.
Yeah, it's her choice. Yeah, I know. And then, did you watch the second part of the Summer House finale?
Last night, yes, I did.
I was happy to see Danielle and Lindsay kind of turn a corner a little bit.
I think they're both annoying, but yeah.
Yeah, totally. But I do have to say, like, if I catch one more whiff of Paige slander, like, I'm done with that person. Like, yeah, Paige is a queen. I don't care if she's a bed bug. Like, that's real. She's just being real.
Yeah. Did you hear Andy, like, when he was like off camera, he was like, oh, Paige, she doesn't say much when she does. He liked when it she does. He doesn't like Lindsay.
Yeah, well. Duh. So
like, yeah, Paige.
Yeah, it's been a big week for reality TV. And I don't know if you're up to date on Below Deck Sailing Yacht too, but like this season is juicy as well.
I'm not. I need to catch up, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
It takes some time, but there's a love triangle brewing between Gary, Daisy, and Colin.
Oh, that's not what I was expecting. That's not who I was expecting you to say at
right?
All.
So yeah, if you are looking for some reality TV to melt your brain to, I thought, like, I know you're a Below Deck.
Yeah, I like Below Deck. I just haven't kept up. I've had so much, VPR.
There's the VPR stuff is unmatched.
I've not kept up with the Kardashians even, and they just,
I
feel like it just launched and I'm already behind. Like,
yeah,
it's just so much good TV out there.
Like, and then there's also like really good TV.
Yeah, I'm watching like Silo. Have you seen
that's on my list to watch?
Okay. Tyler, like, it's like the one book that he actually like really loved and read. Yeah. He actually referred it to Amanda Bond. He was like, so good.
Yeah.
And it's just like was not my
genre.
I didn't think it was my genre for reading.
Yeah.
But sometimes, because he also read The Expanse. I don't know if you ever watched The Expanse.
I've heard of it, but no, I didn't.
Yeah. Okay, so I think there was like 10 books or something for that. He read all of them. And then like I watched that series with him too. And I like watching it, but it's just definitely not something I would read 10 books for. Right. I'd rather read like some crime, psychological thriller, or some like borderline smut, that's just like
I don't even need the border. Just give me the smut. Yeah.
Those are my genres right now. And but the show is really good. Like, I really like Silo.
Okay.
It's something that we can watch together, which is nice, that rarely happens. Like, he rarely wants to watch any of the trash that I'm watching.
No, James will not watch any of it. So
the one show that we watched together recently that I recommended was, did I tell you about this show? What's it called? Jury Duty. Did you watch it?
No. Is it good?
It's so good. It is so funny. It is
writing my notes. I love Jury Duty.
Where was it on? Maybe Hulu or something?
It doesn't even matter because nothing's on the same platform for me.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Just find it. And it is the show. James Marsden's in it, and like everyone but this one guy is acting. Like they're all actors performing like a trial. Okay.
Yeah.
And everyone knows that like it's improv and it's all fake except for this one guy. And there's this one guy who thinks he's really on a jury. And it is so
Oh,
funny. And the actors are like, they do such a good job of like
I think James would
improving.
like that.
He would, it's so it's like I want to watch it again. Like Tyler and I were literally like cracking up because there's like so many awkward, like uncomfortable parts because you're like, oh my God, this guy doesn't know that like this is all fake.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna have to watch it. We kind of played like a similar game to like camping with this, where we like hid two people and didn't tell them, like we knew the real scenario and then we had them improv other scenarios, but we knew what they were really doing. So it was really funny. Okay, I'm gonna add it to the list.
It's so good. And it's like The Office meets
Perfect
reality TV.
I love The
Improv.
Office.
You're gonna love it.
That's our comfort show, James and I. If we ever don't know, or if we only just want to watch something for like a half an hour, we put on The Office.
Okay, please report back after you binge all of Jury Duty tonight.
Will do. Okay, now I think we can dive in. I think good call on the DPR.
Yeah. So just a big day for us over here. So
are you going to watch it tonight?
I have to. Yeah, because there's going to be too many spoilers online. I feel like there's already spoilers like starting to come out on the social media and I need to stay away from them because there's supposed to be this big reveal tonight. And I think it's about the timeline of
everything.
But then supposedly there's even like a reveal that's something that the cast members don't even know about. So I have to watch tonight. Okay. So
I'm gonna watch it like first because I watch on Hayu, so like I can't watch it live. So I don't have cable, so it'll be up by like in the morning. So maybe I'll get up early and instead of working out, I'll watch Vanderpump Rules. Yeah, normally I like in the past, I usually used to watch everything on like the Bravo app, which was like through Spectrum, but we used to get our Spectrum through my sister-in-law's dad's account. And first, I don't know if he changed his password or something, but I can't get back in. Oh, yeah. But we have YouTube TV. Yeah. I think through my brother's account. Only thing we have ourselves is like Netflix. And they're the only ones cracking down right now. So it's fine. Yeah. The other ones are like, share, please. Yeah. Right. So with YouTube TV though, I just recently started watching it on there and I can watch it live. Okay. And if I start it like 10 minutes late, I can skip most of the things. Yeah. You know? Okay. Well, we'll have to reconvene tomorrow to discuss it because I will watch it tomorrow morning, I think. Probably. All right. Because you're right. I won't be able to not be spoiled. So maybe I'll watch it. I'm not going to be able to not spoil you. So like you have to watch it in the morning. Okay. Okay. Will do. Okay. Thanks. Okay. Let's dive into we have 3 good stories today or submissions and I'm excited. Okay. First one is submitted by Burned Out. Oh, I feel like we hear this more than I want to, but I'm going through a burnout and trying to recover, but it feels like everything around me is falling apart. I don't want to share with my coworkers any advice on how to navigate this. Question mark. Sounds like like they said coworkers, so I'm assuming they're a team member. I would make that assumption versus like the CEO or something. Yeah. Would you make that? I would make that assumption. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's fair to like not want to share, but I also think if you work at a supportive work environment, like people want to be able to support you. Yeah. Boundaries come up for me on this one. Like, I think not most people, but a lot of people do. I know this from personal experience. Like a lot of people are doing more in their jobs than they really need to. Yeah. And so maybe there's just like a period of time or, like a season where you need to just focus on doing the job and giving yourself some energetic space to rest. Yeah. I know that was true for me. Like when I was in corporate and then I started my consulting like on the side, I realized that previous to that, I was like pouring all of my energy, like all of my, like just like everything I had into the company.
But then when I started my consulting on the side, I was still able to do my job and get things done, but I just wasn't like going above and beyond. And I wasn't
Right.
like thinking about it 24/7, which like gave me the capacity to start this thing on the side. And obviously that's a different scenario, but I think like just the awareness of how much it's draining you potentially, and like, can you pull back in certain places? Because when I think about my team and like burnout, like I want people around for the long haul, you know, so I would much rather have a season or, you know, a little bit of time where they're doing less but able to take care of themselves versus they're going hard, they want to impress everybody, whatever, and then they burn out and I lose them, you know, and then they're not around anymore. But I think talking to, you know, at least maybe your leadership on like, I need, like, what do you need? Maybe that's the first question. Like, what do you need? Sometimes you don't know, but they can't help you if you don't know.
Exactly. My cat's decided to be a part of this conversation. This is Poppy, if you're watching on video, but
hi, Poppy. Princess Poppy, like from the Trolls.
Exactly. Yeah.
Is that where she was named from?
No, she was named Poppy. We have Poppy and Mac because when we got them as kittens, and when we were pregnant with Lila, we found out and she was the size of a poppy seed. So our whole pregnancy, we called her Poppy in the belly. And we found out with Oakley, he was the size of an apple seed. So we called him Mac, like Macintosh. We didn't know if they were boys or girls. So we just said like baby Mac. And so now the kittens are Poppy and Mac. They're not kittens anymore, but.
Oh my God, that is so cute.
I know. And then we wanted to call Lila Poppy. We were actually going to name her Poppy if she was a girl. And like, I love my mom, but she was like, you're not actually going to call this baby Poppy, are you? And I was like, and that's why you don't tell people the name. Because it was like top 2. So
I love that name. It was on my list.
Yeah, I love the name. I love Lila. Lila has the perfect
I love the name Lila too.
Yeah. Poppy is such a good name. But anyway, I will say that like, Poppy. I know. I think it was end of 2021. I was, as much as you can be, diagnosed with burnout via my therapist and doctor. And it wasn't because of, before people listening, they're like, oh my God, but you work for Clockwork. It wasn't because of work. It was because of the motherfucking pandemic. And in Canada, like our schools were closed for months, like like my kids were home. I was homeschooling. I was doing my best to keep up at work. We had a huge year at Clockwork in 2022, 2020, like 2020
and 2021.
Like we had a huge year. And obviously there was a lot of external pressure and stress because there was so much uncertainty. And then there was so much money in the economy that people were like, yeah, like, let me do this program, which was incredible, but it was a lot. And so I go in and out of therapy for my mental health, like, and I have for years. And my therapist was like, you are burnt out. Like you have to take a break from work. And I was like, no, I cannot, I will not be doing that. Because then I will be a failure. And I think it took her 6 months to convince me enough to tack on a couple weeks after our holiday closure. Which I didn't even end up taking because my kids' school decided to close during that time.
Then you went home with the kids.
And I was like, this is actually worse for my mental health. Like, I feel like now I'm wasting this time. I'll take it again another time. But all that to say that, like, you can have the most supportive, incredible environment, and like a lot of burnout, I'll speak for myself, came from myself, from my own inability to hold boundaries, inability to, what you're saying, to
manage your own expectations.
The number one girl, and like, go. Like that pressure was not put on me from anyone except for myself and my own drive, which, that's why, like, it was like a double-edged sword. Like my drive to be amazing is a great thing, but also it burned me out. And it's not an easy thing to recover from. I think, talking through it in therapy with my therapist and my doctor, like it takes, I think it's something like 5 times as long as like to recover from burnout. You know what I mean? Like it takes a long time to fully recover. And a lot of people don't have the luxury to stop working for that long.
Right.
most people don't.
Mhm.
So, but you will never recover if you don't stop or slow down. And like holding boundaries is the hardest thing in the entire world for me and for a lot of people, but you will absolutely never recover if you don't. So that's
Yeah.
my number one piece of advice is you do not have to tell your coworkers.
Yeah, that was going to be my
I
question for you.
yeah,
Like, would you have told your coworkers? Like, do you think they need to? Like, what are your thoughts?
I didn't tell anyone what was going on right away. I was really embarrassed and had a lot of shame around it because I felt like for people who were going through the pandemic and continued to work full time, I had the easiest and best setup. I wasn't a nurse. I wasn't a teacher. I wasn't like my husband worked outside of the home in the pandemic, like, like, and he was fine. I was like, I should be fine. I should be fine. Like, this makes no sense that this is happening. So I had too much shame and embarrassment to like openly talk with my coworkers about it at first, but I did take a break. So I'm sure that they figured it out. But then over time, I just started referring to like, I needed a break. But I didn't tell people. I told you and Tyler and potentially Gabby, but not right away. And I think that's all I like outright said. Like, this is like a doctor diagnosis.
Yeah. So like personal decision for you, like that's,
Yeah.
the advice we would give is not that you need to tell anyone, but you do need to figure out how to take care of yourself because otherwise you're just going to continue to be burned out.
And if you're working, like, if how other people are going to experience you working is going to change, like, you just have to be prepared for questions, but you don't have to answer them. Like, if you are like the number one guy in the group, VPR, and then all of a sudden you're like only showing up half as much, like people will wonder what's going on. So do you want to get ahead of it if you need to, or do you just are you okay with knowing that like people are gonna have questions and that doesn't mean that they need or are entitled to answers?
Yeah. And I also don't think there's anything like wrong or embarrassing or something to be ashamed of by telling them either, but of course it's like your personal choice. I think different people are just, and it depends on your relationship with those coworkers too. So
yeah, like if you don't feel safe or trust that they're not going to turn like use it against you or something, like if you work in a toxic work environment, I would keep my mouth shut.
Yeah.
But if you work in our environment,
hard for us to say what I would do in that scenario. But like for me personally, which I'll just give my advice, like I like to share. Like for me, it just feels better to like
be honest
and have everyone know, even if I'm being judged. Like I'd rather have that open transparency versus feeling like I needed to like hide things or feel like now I have to come up with a story about that. Like it just feels more exhausting to me. But that's just me personally. So I think totally you do you, but I think it also depends on, like you said, like your safety with your coworkers. But
I also would much rather be judged for like who I authentically am than judged for who these people
think I might be, like they're making up. Yeah, like what they're making up in their heads.
Right. That's just me. I'm like, I like to get ahead of things. I'm very honest and open about like but it wasn't in 2021. Like it was hard. It was really hard. So yeah. Anyway.
All right.
Good one.
Next
Good luck. Yeah.
Good luck.
Godspeed. Hold the boundary. It's your best friend. Yeah.
All right. Next one is called interview help. I have someone in a key position leaving. I have never had to interview or search to fill this position. I have in the past filled it with someone I already knew, which has its pros and cons. I would love some input on great relevant interview questions to ask and how to interpret them. Also, any advice about what to ask for in the application. Thank you.
Okay, we'll have to keep this one pretty generic because we don't know what the role is, obviously. But I agree with just being able to fill positions is nice, but then if you don't put them through your kind of like standardized testing, if you will, to make sure they're a fit, that's when, there's pros and cons to not having to search for a hire, but then not really knowing who you're hiring. So just be mindful. Even if it's a great referral or someone I think it's always a good idea to put them through your interview process just to,
yes,
because you might know them personally, but you don't know them professionally. Because I am I'm not two different people. I am different though, like as a friend than I am as a coworker.
Yeah, and I wouldn't necessarily know your professional strengths. Or all of them as a friend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know what any of my friends do for jobs. So
as well as like culturally,
yeah,
there's like a difference between like, oh, I'm your friend versus
I'm your
you're
superior.
You're gonna fit in also with everybody else.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm like, potentially a superior now or whatever. So I think there's a lot of reasons that you need to, even if you know this person, like you need to put people through your interview process.
And you need to include someone else in that process.
Oh, yes.
Another team member, another leader, someone else to give like an
I would recommend, not doing it, not being involved in the interviews at all if you know this person,
Yeah. Like when you hired D, like I had a conversation with her completely separate from you.
Yeah.
And like obviously it's a no-brainer, but still,
Yeah.
She's like one of your best friends. So
yes.
Yeah. Okay, in terms of actual like relevant interview questions to ask, the number one piece of advice we always give is don't ask if someone is something, like are you organized or are you punctual or are you detail oriented? Because everyone's going to say yes, like that. I'm going to say yes, and I am not detail oriented. Like I'm just not. If you have worked with me in any capacity, because I have 5,000 typos in everything I type. But ask instead, like, how would you do this?
Yeah.
How would you manage the calendar of all these appointments if it's a assistant position? Or how would you market this program? How would you promote this on social media?
So you want to ask questions that help you gain information on their process or how they think about something, or give you insight on their actual skill level in that particular strength that you need, right? Like someone is like, people are going to say they're organized, but how can you ask a question that helps you understand whether or not they're actually organized without just outright asking someone, are they organized? Because they're going to say yes. I would say, yes, I'm organized, but I'm not actually organized, right? So how could you, like Emily was saying, like the context of what this role is, what this position is matters, because you want to ask relevant questions to what strengths that person will need for that role, and then craft some interview questions and even application questions. You said like what to ask for in the application. I think we always try to ask application questions that have them almost like doing some of the work that they might be doing, but just in a much smaller dose, right? So that we can see, okay, if they're going to be someone who's running our social media, for example, we might give them an example podcast episode and then say, can you craft a post for what this would, like what you would say in this post, right? Not asking them, are you competent or, able to write posts for social media? Like, of course they're going to say yes, but actually have them do it. And then you'll learn whether or not you like it. You can work with it. If it's up to par for what you need, or if you can, maybe it even gives you some insight to ask further questions, right? It'll just give you more to go off of.
Yeah. If there are certain personality assessments that you put stock in, if they haven't completed them and they're free, I always ask, people to complete them. We take a lot of stock in Enneagram. So like, do you know your number? Because that gives us some insights on how they will fit into our team, no matter what personality assessment you fall into, you don't want all of one type on one team. So trying to get diversity of thought and experience and motivation is really important. And then we always ask like what their big goals are, what their dreams are. And what the fun question is like, what would you do with like $20 million? Like, I want to learn a little bit about them, you know, because it's very easy for you to determine their skill set. Where you need to really pay attention is, are they going to fit into your team culturally?
Yeah. And it just tells us a lot about someone. For example, like if we always ask them to like do a video. We ask them to do the personality test if they haven't done them yet. And it just tells you a lot about a person and their commitment to the role if they just don't do those things. It's like, okay, womp womp. You know?
Womp womp. Yeah, like we do like our whole team does the strength finders from Gallup, and we do that after they've been hired, because that one costs like $60 a person or something like that. But if you have the funds to do it and you have like top 2 or 3 candidates, like do that before you hire them.
Totally.
Same with Enneagram. When someone gets brought onto our team, like we'll send them for a typing session with our consultant, but they might already know that information. So I just find it to be so helpful, more helpful than like, can you type? Because like, can you use spell check? You know, like, can you Google? That's another one actually, is like, I always want to know how resourceful people are. Like, you don't know how to do something. What do you do to remedy that situation?
You know what should be a good question? Like something super random, like where they would have to like go to Google and be resourceful to figure it out, but it literally has nothing to do with the job. Like, who was the first or what, you know, like
how do you code blah, 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 depending on the, you know, like something so out of left field, because like, you can find anything on Google.
Right. Like, how do you scuba dive, or like, what kind of scuba dive equipment do you need for this
condition? Yeah.
Like, throw them for a loop too, of like, it's just, and that's what I mean by the types of questions that'll figure out if they have the strengths that you're looking for, not necessarily, oh, they know how to use this software that we use. Who cares, right? But like, are they resourceful enough to figure out that question,
figure it out?
Some scuba diving equipment that, you know, because that is probably more of an asset to your team or to that position, if in fact, like, being resourceful is important to the culture or to the job. So,
because they might not know how to use that software, but if they can figure out how to figure it out. Because, you know, like, of course we have captured systems and videos, but like, we are like, if your team is like our team, you're agile, things are moving, changing, maybe you just haven't gotten there yet. And so I love when people can just, hey, I don't know how to do this. This is what I think I need to do, because I Googled it. And they're like, oh my God, I love you.
Yeah.
You're hired.
Yeah.
So I hope that helps. That's some good advice. I'm going to take that scuba diving question and put it on our next application.
Like some random question, put it on our next application.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, the last submission that we have for today is submitted by Drama Queen.
Oh boy.
Love a
drama queen, though.
We do. I have a great team leader, but she doesn't have experience in every area, and her role is more operations. I'm trying to get the team to go to her first with questions, so there's no issues when I'm not around. The problem is, whenever the questions are outside of her expertise, one of my team members often gets frustrated and creates drama. I'm not in a position to let her go right now, but I think I need to head in that direction. This has been ongoing for a year. I've worked with her to try to work with our team lead, but she just isn't getting it. I wonder why you're not in a position to let her go right now. Are you really? And again, I'm always saying I'm not one for letting people like jumping to that as the answer, but then I'm like, but maybe that's the answer. You're jumping to that. Yeah. Because like over a year is a long time to be putting out fires that someone's starting, like when the call is coming from inside the house, you know?
Yeah. I guess my question is, what types of conversations are you having with her to communicate that like this is unacceptable in terms of the drama, the fires that she's creating, and going around this person when you have communicated, sounds like you've communicated she needs to continue to go to that team lead, even though she may not be like the expert on everything. Like, that doesn't necessarily mean she can't run the operations. I think sometimes we're not direct enough. And I say this from a place of experience as well, like where we're not direct enough with like I need you to, or like, this is how you're showing up. Like, this is what it's creating. This is what it's causing. This is unacceptable if it happens again. Like, this is the, performance improvement plan that we're on, or like, this is just not something that can continue. So I just wonder what the tone or what that conversation was like. Like, was it direct enough? I think sometimes we try to
Totally
circumvent and
try to be as
too
nice as
kind.
possible.
I know, it's too nice, when maybe you just need to be direct but kind, because it will be much kinder to let her know what you really need her to do. And if you have already been very direct, you think you've been very direct, and they're still not, following what you need them to do or heading in that direction, then to Emily's point, like, why are we holding on to them then? Because it's probably creating some sort of toxicity, right?
Yeah. And that's when I would, start with the, like, if we're going to give this a step, like a 3-step plan, start with the, okay, I feel like I've been direct with you about XYZ conversation, but I'm going to reiterate it one more time in the most direct way possible. Step 1. If it continues on, then you need to do a performance improvement plan. And you need to have very clear examples, and not like a nebulous, I feel like you're blah, blah, blah. It has to be like, you did this, and this is a problem.
And this is my expectation
of how to improve
forward.
It. And you have 30 days, and we'll check in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? Like, it's very clear. And then and then at the 2-week check-in, if there's improvements, then you keep going. If there hasn't been improvements, then it's a very clear, like, okay, then we're done,
Yeah.
I just find that removes a lot of the emotion from this process. Like, whenever you're having these difficult conversations, the more data you have, the easier it is to just keep it to the facts and not the feelings. Not that the feelings aren't important. They are very important, but we can't we need factual evidence, because feelings can get carried away,
And like, other people may not have those feelings, or that it may just be too subjective. You know what I mean? Like, to me, like, feelings are too subjective to fire someone over. Like, you do need, like, these were the clear expectations. They were not met. We're moving forward, and I have a lot of leaders that have come, I just don't feel like they're the right fit, or I don't feel like they're doing a good job. I'm like, why? Like,
show me.
It's like, it's okay if someone is like culturally not a good fit for your organization, but just admit that versus blaming it on something that's not actually there.
Especially
and do a better job of hiring, because culturally that is really important,
Feelings are a two-way, like, they're just open to too much interpretation, even in, like, from the same person day to day. Like, I can fully admit that, yesterday I was in a horrible mood, so everything felt horrible. But today, I ate I feel fine, and now it's like, oh, it probably wasn't that bad. I've had some space from it. So, but if you act when you're in that horrible mood, like, your perception of reality is completely distorted. So not that I'm speaking from experience at all. I've never.
That's never happened to you.
My moods. Never once.
Could never be you.
Nope. Only every 28 days.
Oh my God. Same.
Yeah.
What's like the worst attack is when your husband like tells you, like, maybe you're about to get your period. I'm like,
I just talked about this with a girlfriend on a lunch walk last week. And she was like, my husband used to do that to me every month. Like, are you on your period? And it would be so offensive. And then one day he just like worded it differently to say, like, hey, I know that your body is experiencing a lot right now. And generally you get like a little bit more frustrated at this time. Is there something that we can do to help? And she was like, and then it was like the most beautiful, open conversation.
It
wasn't like, you are on your period, aren't you? It was like, hey, this is a hard time for you. How can we help?
Such a small switch,
But anyway, I mean,
but the worst part for me is like, he'll say something like a couple days before,
Oh yeah.
And
he's
for some
bad
reason, like
too.
I'm not even tracking it. And
Yeah.
he's like,
Here we go.
like,
Brace for
"Are you about to
impact.
are you about to get your period?" And I'm like, no. And then I look at my like tracker and I'm like, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a whole business around women working during their cycle and how much it changes for us day to day, week to week. So
Yeah.
again, not that that's what this is this is just a
No.
tangent. This is a tangent. Adrian and I, this is a tangent we've
about
gone on
Emily. Yeah,
about,
no, this is not about the
yeah,
advice that this person needed. We're not
yeah.
saying that this woman might be on her period.
No, no. We're saying
all.
I am. So that's why this week
Correct.
sucks.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Oh my
Well, on
goodness.
that note,
I was just thinking, like last night at dinner, Kit told me, because I have this like really bad habit of not being able to like sit still or sit straight in my chair. Like I'm looking at you and I'm like, oh, you're sitting so straight with like your legs down. And like I cannot. And last night at dinner, Kit was like, she looked under the table. She goes, Mommy, you're sitting crisscross applesauce. She goes, put your legs down, put your legs straight. You need to sit straight at the table while we eat. I was like, huh? It's like, who taught you that? I guess at school they have to sit like
militant. Yeah.
like just with their legs down, you know,
Yeah.
not moving all around. But now I'm like conscious of it. I'm like,
yeah,
oh, I am sitting crisscross applesauce. You're right.
Yeah.
Probably terrible for my hips and back too. I cannot just like sit here with my legs down. What is wrong with me?
I struggle with it for sure. Like I have moved so many times in this episode, but
oh, I'm like this, like the
like computer's all wobbly. Yeah.
Yeah, like I'm hit the desk, like I got one leg up here.
Yeah.
Never have I ever sat with both my legs like touching the ground. I don't.
Yeah, well, that's your challenge.
Maybe I just need to use my standing part, my standing.
And then you're standing. Yeah.
Because I don't know what's wrong with me and how to sit like a proper human. So.
But then you'd be standing and then you could move your
sway.
feet. Yeah. Baby sway.
I need a walking thing.
I know I need one too. Sandy has one and I need one. I'm gonna get one in the winter. I've decided.
Okay.
Gonna do it.
I should get one in the summer because that
you can't walk outside. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, friends. Well,
that was a great one.
We love your stories. So please go submit dearworkwives.com.
Yes, please.
We'd love to hear from you about anything past, present, you know, anything that's gone on in previous work environments.
See, like questions about like, how do I hire? Give me some examples, you know, like that's a great question. Keep them coming.
We're here for the questions, the scenarios, the stories. We want them all. So please go to dearworkwives.com, go ahead and submit. And we will
see you next Tuesday.
We got to get better at that.
I know. We're going to work on it.
Okay.